Welcome YouTube to WrestleMania's 32 review. I am CoolNick09 and this is...
Sir JMC, leader of the Knights of the Round Table. What's good, YouTube?
Okay, well, what an intro. Alright, so tonight we had WrestleMania 32 taking place in Dallas, Texas, of course. Here's our little review on what we thought about the show. And we didn't watch the pre-show, so you're going to have to go check out results on that, though the pre-show is never as good anyway. I mean, if you have Kalisto versus Ryback, that belongs on, like, the No One Watched It channel. So, go watch that there. On the WWE Network for $9.99 a month. What? Alright.
You didn't pay for this?
Are you? I don't know. Alright, so you have the match card lineup, so you can start with we can start with the first match and work our way down.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, the first match on this wonderful WrestleMania was the Intercontinental title ladder match with the champion, Kevin Owens, versus The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, Sami Zayn, Zack Ryder, Sin Cara, and Stardust.
Ah. Yeah. Was that all of them?
Yeah, that's everybody.
Alright, making sure, because I was like, oh, a bunch of randomized people in there. Alright,
yeah, just
so,
literally throw everybody.
Were you there for, like, when they all arrived, like, during all the entrances?
I think I missed the entrances, but I saw the start of the match. Like, I think I came back and they were all standing in the ring.
Well, the entrances were pretty good. You start off the match in the beginning seeing Byron Saxton in his little fucking getup, like...
I remember making fun of Byron Saxton for that. This fucking retarded
basically
suit.
Yeah, it basically just took a bunch of rhinestones you can get from, like, a Michaels craft store and just was, like... stuck them all over himself. Great. And then, alright, well, The Miz was wearing some, like, basically a tinfoil getup. I was like, oh, you bought that also from fucking Walmart. Sin Cara basically wore straight white, which I think is the worst idea to do in a wrestling place. Like, you can just fucking, like, you shit your pants, that's obvious.
CM Punk what?
Yeah. Zack Ryder looked pretty bomb. Kevin Owens basically looked like himself. Sami Zayn came out looking exactly like himself. So,
wearing that one hat that he owns.
Yeah, the one hat, and just a little skip down to the ring, like.
Yeah.
And then who else was in the match? Stardust.
Zack Ryder and Stardust.
All right, and Stardust came out with a polka dot version of his Stardust suit, which was in like remembrance of his dad, which I thought was kind of cool. Paying his homage, but it made it look really, really fucking stupid.
True.
All right, so you can call this match, and I'll do the next one, and I'll throw
good
my 2
match.
cents.
I'm gonna say good match. Probably one of the most unexpected. In terms of storyline wise, one of the most unexpected finishes because like, what the fuck are you gonna do from that point? So we have Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, and personally, that's what I thought, that this was gonna be like the Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn kind of match, and everyone else was just in there because you need something to do. They're paying them, so why not? Right? So Sami Zayn probably had the spot of the match when he dove through the ladder and took everybody out, and then ran around the ring and did that suicide dive through the turnbuckle.
Suicide DDT.
Yeah, that was pretty insane. Sin Cara also had a pretty crazy spot where he got pushed off the ladder, springboarded onto the rope, and like took everybody out, and nobody caught him, so he just kind of landed like straight onto the mat, which was brutal to see because it looked like he just like died. Pretty brutal. So beginning of the match, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens going at it a little bit. Everyone just kind of fucks around. Kevin Owens had best opening to a match of all time when everyone jumped out to get a ladder and he just stood in the ring like, I am God.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Basically is God.
Yeah, the fucking, I love Kevin Owens, dude. He's fucking amazing. Match of pretty insane spots, like a lot of jumping off the ladders. I mean, even Zack Ryder jumped off a ladder with a
elbow to the Miz. Oh, that was great.
An elbow from and took out Miz. Like I said, Sin Cara had his crazy spot. Kevin Owens climbed a turnbuckle faster than I've ever seen a 300-pounder climb a turnbuckle, and frog splash Sami Zayn, killing Sami in the process. Like,
on the ladder.
I think Sami Zayn is retired. Yeah, on the ladder that was balanced on the bottom turnbuckle. And then Stardust ended up getting put through a ladder from, I believe it was Sin Cara, who landed on top of him.
I think so. Yeah, Sin Cara landed on top of Stardust, yeah.
Yeah, so those two were basically dead from that point on. Rest in pieces, those two. Um, so then we get to the end of the match, and the Miz is on top of the ladder, and it looks like the Miz is gonna win, but the Miz is doing like some heel shenanigans, like he's gloating before he wins the match, and fucking out of nowhere, woo woo woo, Zack Ryder runs up the ladder, pushes him off, and your new Intercontinental Champion, ladies and gentlemen, the Master of Hype,
Yeah.
Zack Ryder.
Yeah, I think he was my call anyway when they put him in there. It's like he's the most unexpected person who was like, "Oh, you lost every match on the main roster," and then was like, "You were demoted to NXT basically to start a tag team with a nobody," and then now you're in a ladder match. I'm like, "Oh, they're definitely pushing this guy to like the sky." So they did, and I was like, "Yes," and I fucking freaked out. I was like, I was either him or Sami Zayn. I was hoping to have the win, but
Yeah, I was hoping. I mean, I guess you kind of have to get Kevin Owens out of the Intercontinental title like picture for a while because I mean he's held it for a while, or they could just do like night after Raw. Kevin Owens gets his title rematch and then instantly kills him. That could be a thing. Which I mean, maybe they just wanted to give Zack Ryder like a WrestleMania moment.
that's a fucking horrible way to do it. Like, hey, you're so good, man. Yeah, you're fired. What? You lose.
It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be the first time they fuck some people over. Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, basically. Like, what the fuck?
So yeah, that was basically the match. I give this match out of 5. I'm gonna say 4 stars. Really good match in my opinion.
I think it was like one of the best matches in my opinion.
Yeah, it could have easily been match of the night.
With all the spots that Sami Zayn took, probably. And then
Yeah.
everyone else just fucking suicide dived and fucking did stupid ass shit and
Yeah,
pretty freaking good. And all the entrances looked amazing.
yeah. That I gotta say that too. This WrestleMania, the spectacle of it was really insane. Like I thought the entrance was good. All the entrances were really good. Everyone's attire looked good. Like just like the whole it being entertainment has never been so apparent to me, and the spectacle of WrestleMania really stood out in my opinion.
Alright, so that was match number 1. Alright, what was match number 2?
Match number 2 was Chris Jericho versus AJ Styles 4. So
Alright, well,
take it away.
before we do that one, who was your prediction to win the ladder match?
Oh, my prediction:
Yeah, in the beginning, who do you think was going to win it?
Sami Zayn.
Oh, yeah,
I
see,
thought I thought Sami Zayn was going to win because they were going to go into a feud with Kevin Owens, but now it seems like they're going to put them in a feud without the title.
which would be kind of good, or maybe like they'll do a feud for the number 1 contendership for it, maybe?
Yeah.
Alright, so match number 2 was AJ versus Chris Jericho. Number 4, was it 3 or 4? It was 4, right?
4.
Yeah, 4. Alright, first one he did was on Raw after his debut on Royal Rumble. He wins. Jericho beats him on SmackDown the next week. Fastlane, AJ beats Jericho, and then now this one is Jericho versus AJ, WrestleMania, granddaddy of them all. I thought this match was okay. I didn't really like their Fastlane match, honestly. Well, it was okay, but like, it's like freaking putting like fucking Batista versus like freaking Edge or Undertaker 1,000 times. Like, eventually you're just gonna be doing the same thing over and over again. So it's like, it kind of eventually just like you kind of like see it coming out of nowhere, not really out of nowhere, but you're just like, oh, this is gonna happen, and you can basically like call the entire match basically until like that last move, and then you're like, all right, anyone can pin it, pull it in that one.
Yeah, the this match is definitely I think it's just fatigue. Like honestly, like these two always put on a good match in my opinion. It's just that we've seen it so many times in a short amount of time. It's just like I'm getting over seeing it over and over again.
Yeah, it's like basically it's like, dude, if they just didn't do it like over a 3-span month, it might have been better.
Yeah.
So match pretty much, I don't really can't really like talk about or really like, was there really any spots in the match ultimately?
There was that insane springboard 450 AJ did. That was
yeah,
pretty great.
Yeah, AJ did a nice 450 springboard. He hit the Styles Clash. Jericho hit like 2 walls of Jericho's, 2 code breakers.
That's another one. That second code breaker was fucking brutal.
Oh, that one's the one that fucking murdered him.
Yeah, that was a great code breaker.
So basically, I think this match is basically just to get like AJ like his WrestleMania match on there, and then hopefully they'll push him now or put him somewhere else minus Jericho and not give him another match. But Jericho wins via springboard code breaker, basically. AJ's all, like, getting everyone all on their feet and, like, about to get ready for that springboard freaking forearm, and then freaking Jericho catches him and doesn't even hit him in the face. It's, like, on the side of the temple. Like, probably could have killed him if it was real. Like,
yeah.
And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, no! But I was like, so AJ loses his first WrestleMania match, which now they're tied at 2-2, which I kind of guessed Jericho was going to win, but it's like at the same time, it's like, why if you tie them at 2-2, that means there either has to be a fifth match, or they're just going to be like, all right, now, like, we're just going to pretend like this never happened.
Going into this match, I thought Jericho was going to win. I thought Jericho was going to win. I just don't know, like, how they're going to proceed now, because now it's tied 2-2. So the way I see it going down is, instead of rebooking it, because it's getting clear that nobody wants to keep seeing these two guys face over and over and over again, is that, like, Jericho says, okay, we're even, we're both really good, which wouldn't make any sense because Jericho's so good as a heel. You wouldn't want him doing anything face-like. But the only other way I see it happening is Jericho saying, like, oh, I beat him, I'm better than him, I'm done with him, I'm not facing him anymore. But then again, then AJ would come back and say, I beat you twice. So I don't know how they're going to get out of booking a fifth match, unless they're going to book a fifth match and be like, this is the big one. So, I don't know.
What was your, you said Jericho was your prediction for that?
Yep.
I mean, I got, out of the whole entire night, I got one prediction wrong, and you guys will find out which one that is, but I predicted this one right, too. I was all like, Jericho's definitely beating AJ. So I thought that was pretty decent. I'm going to also try to get some footage if I don't get, like, because I think you could show, like, a whole, like, 10 seconds before they could be like, oh, it's copyright. So I'll be like, all right, well, here's, like, my favorite part of WrestleMania then. So, all right, so what was the next match? I want to do the women's match, so let me do that, but you could do whatever this match.
The next match was New Day versus League of Nations.
Boo! I hate this match sucked. Now this match actually wasn't too bad. It was kind of
New Day. First of all, shout out to the New Day coming dressed as Saiyans. All right,
that was fucking insane. I gotta see if I can find a picture of that.
They were dressed as Saiyans. Xavier Woods goes all out. He was wearing a tail. He had Super Saiyan hair. It was crazy. And then League of Nations came out and they did their thing. Wade Barrett was there for some reason. Who the hell knows why? He doesn't wrestle anymore. So
I'm pretty sure they're just like pretty much like not booking him now because they're like, oh, you're leaving, so we don't even want you now.
Yeah, I mean, he was there. I mean, he did have some good heel shenanigans during the match, like pulling people down off the apron, and he took one spot from like Big E, like a double spear through the rope, that suicide dive kind of thing, which was kind of cool. So basically, in this match, New Day comes out, talk their shit, do their dance, starts working, and then League of Nations come out, they do their thing where they all try to raise their hands at the same time and fuck it up.
They're all like, yeah!
And then, so, it starts off with, Wade Barrett was talking, or I'm thinking at the end of the match, because the end of the match is the most memorable thing. But, pretty good wrestling match in terms of strictly wrestling. Big E probably had the best spot of the match, where he did a spear to Alberto Del Rio and Rusev and took out Wade Barrett at the same time, which was pretty cool. It was like a suicide dive. And then, other than that, it basically just ended with a bro kick, 1, 2, 3. So then Wade Barrett, he gets on the mic, and you weren't here for this, but Wade Barrett was talking about it, and he's like, no group of 3 men could ever beat us. We are the best, yada, yada,
Is he pretty
yada.
much saying that he's a manager? Is that basically what he is now?
He was basically saying that because he was like, no group of 3 can beat our group of 4, which obviously math, 3 is less than 4, so you would think they would have a disadvantage anyway, but I digress. So Wade Barrett's talking, and he's running his mouth about how, no group of 3 could ever beat us, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, probably the biggest pop of the night, you hear Shawn Michaels' music hit. Crowd goes absolutely nuts. Shawn Michaels comes out, he's dressed in his wrestling attire.
Can't believe I missed all that.
Shawn Michaels comes out, so the crowd's going nuts, and he's standing on top. He does the little, point over to the Titantron. Mick Foley hobbles his way out. I can't believe that dude's still walking. He comes out, everyone's going nuts. They're like, oh my God, Shawn Michaels and Cactus Jack. And then Mick Foley says, hold on a second, wait, we got one more. And then the most over face in the history that's not named Daniel Bryan, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That's not named Daniel Bryan.
Stone Cold comes out, Austin 316, crowd goes nuts. Stone Cold just kind of looks around, flips some people off. They walk down to the ring, they get into the ring, they clean shop. There's super kicks for everybody, there's stunners for everybody. So then the New Day decides to get into the ring, and they wanna twerk. So Shawn Michaels does a little twerking, which was probably the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And then Xavier Woods is trying to convince Stone Cold to dance. So Stone Cold starts getting into it, starts snapping along, has a little bit of rhythm, and then stuns the shit out of him. Kofi Bryant looks like Luke Skywalker at the end of Star Wars. He drops down, he's crying, he's fucking breaking into pieces because Xavier's dead. And they just kind of roll out of the wing, and then beers for everybody.
Yeah, and then, you give him beer to Shawn Michaels, Mr. Christian guy, like...
Hey, he can drink.
Not legally.
He can totally drink. But, yeah, not legally. He's only legally, 10 times the age of allowed. But, yeah, so... Good. That was probably my favorite non-wrestling moment of WrestleMania, when those guys came out and they kicked the shit out of League of Nations. That was cool. And I must say, Shawn Michaels looks incredibly well for being quote-unquote fat, I believe he called himself, and out of shape and slob.
He probably goes to the gym. He's probably just freaking, busting balls.
I seen him, I think it was on the Stone Cold podcast, where he did kind of look like chubby. He didn't look fat, but he just kind of looked, like someone who's not keeping in great shape. And
he doesn't have to go to the gym anymore. I have to worry about any of that anymore. Now he can just go home and be like, dude, I can go kill deer and do whatever the fuck I want on my freaking 12-acre ranch.
Yeah, but he came out, he was flat, his abs were flat. Obviously he didn't have a full six-pack, but he was definitely in shape. It looked like he could have wrestled a match on that card and probably out-wrestled half the people on the roster, because he's fucking Shawn
He probably
Michaels.
still could. He probably, when he's 80, probably be like, wait a second, hold on.
Yeah, I'm sure Shawn Michaels could still put on high-quality matches, but, it's,
All right,
what are you gonna do? He's retired.
So I thought the New Day was probably gonna lose this, only because it wasn't for the tag titles. If it was for the titles, I thought the New Day would probably win, but because it was just a three-man, I was like, all right, they're probably just gonna have the New Day lose. Though, why would you have the New Days lose when you pop out a big box of Bootios in a Super Saiyan suits and you have fucking tails? It's like, all right, you put all that freaking effort into somebody who's gonna lose. Okay.
Yeah.
But so at that point in the night, I had three. My first three predictions were right. What's this match after?
You want to do the Divas match, right?
Is that the one after this one?
Yeah, it's right after this one.
Alright, then yeah, you can do this one.
Alright, so the next match was the Beast incarnate himself, Brock Lesnar, versus Dean Ambrose in a street fight. Now, going into this match, I want to put this out. I fully expected Dean Ambrose to win, because it in my mind, it makes no fucking sense for Brock Lesnar to win. But, looking at it from all angles, I can kind of see Brock winning, because if he loses, what is he going to do? But
he gets paid so much money, too. They're not going to just have to be like, hey, you're going to lose to this guy who doesn't have a title.
Yeah, but then again, Dean is a main event guy. He's right there. He's just he's on the same level as Brock Lesnar in terms of, right there in the title hunt. But, let me actually talk about the match. So, Brock comes out, he does his little hop to the ring, he jumps, he does some fireworks, it's very cute and everything. Very cute and cuddly, just like Brock. And then, fucking Dean Ambrose comes out, and he, punches himself in the face a couple times. So then, it starts off, I believe it started off with Brock suplexing him, 6 times or some shit like that. And then, the weapons started getting involved. He brought out a kendo stick, beat the shit out of Brock for a little bit, and then Brock suplexed him a bunch of times. And then he was taunting him, so Dean punched him in the nuts. That was pretty funny. Then beat the shit out of him. Dean's commentary during matches is great. How he talks. So he picked up a chainsaw at one point. He couldn't get it started. I guess he forgot to put the gas in it. Fucking schmuck. Got destroyed by Brock. There was a lot of chairs involved. Shout out to the strength of Brock Lesnar. He actually hummed Dean Ambrose over 20 chairs. Just fucking threw him across the ring in a German suplex. That was pretty insane. Also, shout out to the guy who had the little card signs for every time Brock threw up a suplex. That guy's the real MVP. And then
like Montel Vontavious Porter, like
yeah. So then Dean had a fire extinguisher at one point. It was basically Dean just beating the shit out of him with a bunch of weapons, and then Brock set up an F5 and he went to F5 him and Dirty Deeds him, which I saw coming. I thought that was going to be the finish, but Brock kicked out and then did a Brock Lesnar thing. He's like, "Oh, I don't feel pain," and then he F5'd him on a bunch of chairs and then pinned him 1, 2, 3, and then he sprayed the fire extinguisher for good luck. So Brock Lesnar ends up winning.
I predicted that one. I thought he was gonna win. I was like, Dean's gonna give a good effort, but he's gonna get the shit kicked out of him mad hard. And honestly, in the beginning, I thought it was just gonna be a squash match because basically what it was, he was just getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, I mean, Dean's too over for him to be in a squash match. So I thought they were gonna do something like Roman wins, Dean wins, and now Dean's right in line for the title. And then it's like facing the brothers, and then Dean can fucking take the title off Roman, and then push Roman as a heel because he's pissed off that Dean took the title off of him. But I think ahead. WWE doesn't. So
I think of not tomorrow.
I mean, fucking like.
Here's what I didn't get about the freaking match. What was the point of Foley and Funk coming on for 2 Raws and giving him weapons that he wasn't going to use? Here's a chainsaw. What am I gonna do? Kill the guy?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you give him the fakest barbed wire bat that you've seen since Walmart produced barbed wire.
Shit, that looked so terrible, especially when he started making out with it.
Yeah,
Listen, from someone who has experience with barbed wire, all right, I felt the shit. It doesn't feel good, all right. If you put your fucking face against barbed wire, you will not have half that face anymore. Guaranteed. He was making out with that barbed wire bat. That was bullshit. Yeah, I mean, it looked terrible. It really did. It looked like they had, fake, gray, and they just decided to take, spray paint and spray paint it, silver. I mean, it looks so bad, but what are you going to do? I mean, it's PG. They don't want to hurt anybody. Blood's bad. Blood is the devil, so can't have any of it.
Apparently. All right, so...
Unless it's NXT, then let Joe bleed. Fucking savages.
That was nuts. All right, so is this the Divas match next?
Yep.
Right.
Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Sasha.
All right, so before the whole match started, the pre-show, Lita unveils the new women's title, which is literally a replica of the WWE.
We got to talk about this. We got to have a little discussion about this because we have differing opinions.
Well, it's not that I don't like the belt. I know the Divas belt had to be changed. We'll do it now because basically the match didn't even start yet at this point before this whole thing. Because we didn't watch the pre-show, so we didn't get to watch it.
Yeah, so you talk about the Divas title and your opinion on it, and then I'll...
Alright, the Divas title definitely shouldn't have... when it was made, it was there was really no point of it being made. The women's title just should have stayed the women's title, but maybe a different design that wasn't a giant fucking butterfly would have been nice. But, so... They have, you have 5 years, basically, where you had, freaking shitty-ass divas trying to win the title. You had people that weren't really wrestlers. It was more we're gonna, Nikki Bella, she wasn't really a wrestler when she won the title in the first place, and she, from AJ, and she she looked fucking horrible as a wrestler, but she was just, everyone's like, oh, she's hot, dude. She does that little hip thing. Her breasts are fucking D's, they're great. So once the Divas Revolution started, that's when I was like, oh, a new title needs to happen. And they're saying if Sasha won the match at Mania, that the new title was gonna happen. Well, the new title happened anyway, and I just didn't like it. It basically looks like a replica of the WWE title, but different. But I just thought that what was wrong with the original women's title? Just give that a little bit of a different makeover. Just
real quick to intervene, the Intercontinental also looks like the WWE title, but different. I'm just saying, Your argument is, it looks like the WWE's title, but different. The Intercontinental title looks like it, but different.
Yeah, no, but it's literally like a replica. It's just different colors.
Yeah, what he's saying is, it just basically has a color palette change.
And it says women's on the bottom, that's it.
Yeah.
So, I just didn't really get that part of it. I get it, you want to say, oh, this is the main world title for women, and you want to make it look like that. It's just I didn't really kind of get that. But I definitely think it's a big step up from the title that they had before.
Yeah.
So the winner of the match gets the new WWE Women's title, Women's Championship. My thing is, I don't know if that means Charlotte's reign continues from where it left off, or if it's a new thing.
I think they're gonna say that it continues because, WWE just they don't fucking care about anything that they ever said in the past. I think they said when the women's title was retired, the Divas title, all reigns were switched and longest reigning Diva champion, but then they were also talking about how like some divas had longer reigns because they held the women's title or some shit like that. They don't fucking know what's going on.
All right. Well, anyway, this match is one.
Hey, hold on. I need to talk about the Divas title.
Fuck!
Bitch.
Damn it. Well, here's my nice Sasha shirt.
So, yeah, he liked to fondle it at night. All right. So, the women's title. Let me go back to my favorite diva of all time, and who I truly believe is the best diva to ever step foot. AJ Lee, right? She held the Divas title. She didn't hold the women's title because back then, the Divas division, or the women's division, was a total joke. You had people who couldn't wrestle. So when the term divas started getting thrown around, that's what they were viewed as. They were viewed as divas because they were just like, every single one of them was like a bunch of
hot women,
bitchy, like stuck up, like hot women that were just annoying. So they were literally the definition of divas. So the Divas title fit them very well.
Kelly should have not won a Divas title, and she did. And it's like, can you wrestle?
Exactly. Like, I mean, people who don't know how to wrestle were winning this title. But the Divas title looked like shit. Like, it looked like a tramp stamp from fucking some $2 whore you would find at the fucking gas station. So, like, it just looked terrible. Which, okay, I mean, I am personally the belief of your title should look like how you want your division to look. Bad title, bad division. But, so it looks like shit, and I mean, people thought it looked bad, but no one really gave a shit because no one good was wrestling. Then AJ Lee comes along and truly kickstarts the Divas Revolution because you have AJ Lee, who is just far and away the best women's wrestler in the company at the time. And she's out wrestling so many people, and it's like, she's an actual wrestler. She's not a diva. Especially with her personality, given she was a bit psycho. And her
that was her personality, though.
Yeah, like, her personality was a bit, like, bitchy and psychotic. But...
it's just how she was.
Yeah, she's a woman's wrestler. Much like Trish and Lita and, like, Alundra Blaze. Like, those are women's wrestlers. But... So, she was a Divas champion, and people started saying, you know, she shouldn't be holding the Divas title, she should be holding a woman's title, because it's whatever. So then the Divas Revolution comes around with, like, Nikki Bella and bullshit, because the wrestling is stepping up. I mean, it's not hard to step up from nothing. So, now it's the Divas Revolution, and the Divas division is actually getting traction. And then you have NXT, and you have these four people called the Four Horsewomen, which are Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, and Bayley, and they are just unbelievable. They are turning the Divas division on their head because they can wrestle, and that's something that's never been heard of in the Divas division, besides like Trish and Lita. So,
I thought Victoria was pretty good.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm talking like if you
a forefront,
yeah, like I mean, to like represent. I mean, that's like saying Baron Corbin's good, but he's no Seth Rollins. Like, it's
true.
But again, I digress. So you had it became a women's division, and people started saying, well, this isn't a Divas division. These are actual wrestlers, so it should be a women's division. And I mean, the Divas title is not something you would want to strive for. It looks like trash. Why would you want that?
It looks like a tramp stamp.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically like, oh, congrats, you're the biggest bitch out of all of them. Here's your title. So, the women's title, I think it's good because the WWE title, I think the WWE title now has a very clean and sleek look, and I really like it. I think
the WWE title looks way better than that spinner shit they tried pulling off.
Oh, absolutely. The spinner fucking title was garbage. Do. We'll get to that later, though. But, so, the... color swap. I really like titles with white straps on the back. I think they look really good.
Yeah, like the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, the Intercontinental title might be my favorite title, like, ever. Like, it looks great, in my opinion. But, it's basically just a color swap of, instead of being black, it has a white strap, and it has a red background with a silver, like a super silver WWE logo, and on the bottom it says Women's Championship. Now, the Women's Championship is a big step for WWE. They're calling it a Women's Championship again, not a Divas Championship.
That was predicted by Sasha Banks, but
yeah, I mean, it has to. I mean, they're the best women's wrestlers to ever step foot besides AJ and like Trish and them. So I think the title. I've gone on this rant for how long now? Like 15 minutes.
You have other rants to go on?
I'm gonna fucking wrap it up. All right, it's the ultimate title for the woman in the division, so it should look like the WWE title because it's the equivalent of the WWE title for a woman. I think it looks good.
I think I would change the look of it. But I think it makes sense how it.
That being said, I still think the NXT women's title looks better.
Oh yeah, it does. Even though it's kind of small looking, still.
I like it because of how small it is. Like I just think it looks really sleek and nice, and the pink diamonds on it are fucking awesome. So
this match is Charlotte starts off who was champion since she beat Nikki Bella at Night of Champions. Then we have Becky Lynch, who is former best friend and boss Sasha Banks. Becky comes out to her. She looks she's hot. Let's go with it. She's hot, but she comes out to her music, looks great. Then we have, did Charlotte come out last, or was it?
Yeah, Charlotte came out last.
Well, I have a small clip here of Sasha's entrance. I'm going to try to hopefully get off without getting it fucking copyrighted, but it's basically her coming out. We have Snoop Dogg, who was inducted to the Hall of Fame and is Sasha's legitimate blood cousin, is there singing with, I believe it's the girl in Sasha's theme song. I think it is. Why they start singing her song, so I'm going to
like this has to be a transformative work, otherwise we're gonna get flagged for copyright. Nick, I'm telling you how the fuck not to get your video flagged for copyright, bitch. Shut the fuck up.
Sasha being escorted to the ring by...
Alright, so that's a little clip of Sasha's entrance. She's walking with Snoop, who's, for some reason, he decided to wear a tuxedo in the Hall of Fame, but then wears a fucking bathrobe fucking WrestleMania. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Like, I guess you're Snoop Dogg, so you can do whatever you want. Which is great. Match in general. This is the one that I didn't predict. Only one I got wrong the whole fucking night. It had to be this one. Which I'm kind of pissed off at. The beginning, the match was kind of late. Like, just like throwing each other around. Well, first, let's talk about Sasha's freaking getup. Dedicated to Eddie Guerrero. The whole fucking thing looked awesome. I was like,
yeah, it had the Eddie Guerrero color palette. I believe it had the Viva La Razza font on the back where it says the boss or legit boss or whatever she has on her tights.
Which is wicked good in my opinion.
Her cousin,
yeah, I guess Eddie Guerrero is Sasha Banks' hero, so she decided to dedicate it to Eddie.
But so the match is pretty good. They start throwing each other around. It's kind of lame in the beginning, and then they start like do a couple double team moves. Sasha and Becky hitting Charlotte. But basically, I thought that this like NXT is still pulling off the best women's match. Actually, the best women's match, in my opinion, was still Sasha. The one on TakeOver.
Best women's match of all time.
Still pretty like underwhelming.
The two best women's matches of all time, both of them.
But this match was okay. A lot of submissions, which is they're all known for. You got the disarmor, which is Becky's. Charlotte's is figure eight, and Sasha's, which is the bank statement. Though Sasha's is the hardest, in my opinion, to pull off, only because you need to like hit them like perfectly where they pull, like backstab and then buckle over.
Yeah, her setup is much more difficult because she does the backstabber and flips them over.
And like during this match, she hits it twice, or yeah, I think she hits it twice, and both times they lazily
twice on Becky, and twice Becky just kind of bounced off.
Yeah, it was more like a bounce to the side and didn't really hit her with. Sasha hits the figure 4 a couple times, then a figure 8, and then of course we got fucking Flair being a fucking cock.
Yeah.
But Ric Flair gets taken out during the match. I don't remember who. I don't remember who takes him out. I think it was Becky. Becky took him out, and which is great. So, but then at the end of the match, I'll just talk. Like basically, the match was pretty underwhelming. There's a couple good spots where like there's a bunch of botches too. Like Sasha was supposed to go through like a double, like a superplex into her doing a freaking...
Yeah, they was like Sasha was speared into the corner, so she was sitting on the corner, and then they were supposed to do a superplex, and she was supposed to sunset flip into like a pin, and
she completely missed.
Yeah, she overshot it by like a fucking mile, and she was just out in the middle of the ring
And just
looking
like
at him.
kind of like went under and then like kind of like pulled them through.
Yeah.
But a lot of good stuff. But the ending was the only one I didn't get. Because basically the whole idea of bringing a women's title back was Sasha's idea, saying if she won that she was gonna bring a women's title to the Divas, and then she loses because freaking has to freaking decide to like horny bastard and like I'm gonna hump your leg.
Yeah.
Like give me that, and then that makes Charlotte Charlotte gets the submission win over Becky. Then what I really didn't get was the whole freaking fireworks setup for her. Like, all right, I know it was a women's match, but it wasn't the main event, so why are you freaking launching like fireworks inside the arena and outside the arena?
Yeah, like I said, the spectacle was just super over the top on this.
They broke the attendance record, so I mean, I guess that's maybe why they wanted to do it.
Yeah, I think they were just trying to suck everybody in, hook them on.
Like, whatever. But I was like, after Sasha's entrance, it's like why would you have Sasha lose?
That being said, though, Charlotte also had a pretty insane entrance.
She did, but it's not like someone came out and started singing. It's not like you had your cousin out there rapping for it.
Yeah, because Charlotte is also cousins to Snoop Dogg, right?
Yeah. But alright, well, this match is the only one I didn't predict for the whole entire night, not counting the pre-show, because I didn't watch the pre-show. This is the only one I thought Sasha would end up winning. He didn't. So you can take.
Alright, the next match was the Hell in a Cell between Shane and Undertaker. Now, this one, see, I want to, like, I didn't have many predictions, like, going in, but, like, the predictions that I did have, they were, like, I'm predicting this because the storyline doesn't progress unless this happens. So,
you'd think so.
What the fuck?
Like, the whole Brock winning over Dean.
Yeah, like, but, again, I think of the future, so fuck me. So Shane McMahon versus Undertaker. So, going in, I'm going to spoil the end of the match because I'm going to tell you my prediction, which was wrong. I thought Shane was going to win because he fucking needs to win to progress the storyline. So unless Shane just kind of came in because everyone in the world was injured, so it's like, oh, okay, we need to book something. I mean, I guess that was it. So Undertaker ends up winning. Now, a lot of crazy stuff in this match, which we'll get to probably the craziest spot of the night. So, how old is Undertaker now?
I think he's in his. I think he just did 52. I can look that up right now. I think he just had his 53rd birthday because they had a picture of training and then he gave him a cake. He's 51. Right. He just turned 51 on March 24th.
He's 51, and I believe Shane is 46, if I'm remembering that correctly.
I can look that up as well. Yeah, probably.
So, these are two older guys. Surprisingly, this match was still pretty well wrestled. I actually have a big problem with people throwing knees in WWE because when you throw a knee from someone who also has experience with eating knees, they fucking hurt really bad, and you can mess somebody's day up with them. So you have to pull them in WWE, but when you pull a knee, it looks like shit. So I don't like when they do that. So Shane was beating the shit out of Undertaker. Undertaker beating the shit out of Shane. They kind of like fight on the outside for a little bit. And I did have one prediction about this match, right? Which I'll get to. So Shane, they're fighting a little bit. There's stairs brought into the ring. Shane rolls outside after a grueling little bout and gets some bolt clippers and starts cutting the side of the cage for him to get speared through, which I predicted. And then Undertaker comes out, picks him up, runs him through. I thought Shane might have had a concussion because if you look at the way he hits, his head is perfectly even with the corner of the announcer table, which looked brutal.
Possible that he.
Yeah, I mean, I know the cage was there, but still the impact of that solid object being right behind the cage could be very, very bad. But I think Shane was okay. It'd be hard to imagine that he had a concussion with the thing that he did next. So he beats the shit out of Undertaker a little bit, throws him Undertaker starts ripping apart tables and gets his ass handed to him by a cord that's stuck to a monitor. He couldn't rip it out. So
he tries to hit him the first time. It doesn't even hit him. It's like, okay.
Yeah, he couldn't reach him. So then Undertaker, he's like fucking diddling himself or something. So Shane slaps a rear naked choke or a sleeper hold, as they call it, on him on a convenient box that is just too convenient to not be used. And then Undertaker dives through a table killing both of them to break the rear naked choke, which was, a good spot. So Shane ends up getting the better of him, beats the snot out of Undertaker for a little bit, lays him out on the middle table, which I believe was the English announce table, climbs to the top of the cage, and he's looking down at Undertaker. The cage is raised to 20 feet. Used to be 16 when Mick Foley got thrown off of it and stuff like that. Now it's up to 20 feet. Looks very high from the angles that they were doing. A lot of low to the ground, looking up angles, which makes it look much higher than it actually is. So Shane looking down at him. Going into this, Shane has a history of being just absolutely nuts. He fell 70 feet when Steve Blackman beat the shit out of him with a kendo stick. He's dived off the Titantron. So I thought Shane was going to jump off the top of the cage, which he did to drop an elbow. Totally missed Undertaker. Undertaker dodged out of the way, and all the crash pads underneath it and everything. He lands. He landed perfectly flat, and he landed perfectly flat on the table with his back and hips in line, which is how you're supposed to land those to minimize the damage that you actually receive. That way it's just brute force, and you don't have to worry about a specific part of your body getting hurt because it's spread over a wider impact area. So then Undertaker basically brings him in the ring, tombstones him, 1, 2, 3, the end. Undertaker wins. Now, again, I don't know how they're going to progress the storyline. Undertaker can wrestle. I think the way they have to progress the storyline is Vince never said you have to win. He just said you need to do this match.
I don't know. I mean, ultimately, it's I'm going to give you Raw just at that point, because he could just be okay.
I mean, I think it's just a technicality. I think maybe if they want to do a brand split, what Vince could say is you lost, you're not getting Raw, but you can have this shitty sideshow that nobody cares about called SmackDown, and then you could have a brand split there. But
maybe. I don't have any idea how they're going to... Because technically, in my opinion, you win the match, yeah, you get Raw, but if you lose the match...
Yeah, that being said, though, they never actually said it. I mean, it really is a technicality and some stupid bullshit, but they never actually did say win.
Yes.
And plus, WWE, they rate themselves into such terrible spots. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if they just use some technicality to get out of a terrible writing.
But decent match out of all. Shane at 46 years old should not have done what he did.
It was a much better match than I thought it was going to be. And Shane, I'm sure he was okay. I mean, he got brought out on a golf cart and everything, but I think he should be okay. He should be. He's 46 years old, so it's gonna hurt him for a while. But he should be back to normal in a couple weeks. He didn't take any too crazy bumps. That 20-foot drop, it's not as bad as it seems, especially with a bunch of crash pads underneath it and laying flat on your back. If he would have took it wrong, things could have got very, very ugly.
All right. So what's the match after that? Is that when The Rock comes out after that?
I believe it is. That's not even on this website I'm on, but let's talk about it because why not?
All right, so The Rock comes out basically to a big pop. Basically, he has his name on fire on a freaking side thing to the left. Says
Brings
The Rock.
out a freaking flamethrower, lights his name on fire, shooting a flamethrower around.
Then comes to the ring and pretty much giving Dallas and WrestleMania a huge pop, saying oh, you broke the door attendance record from Hogan and Andre. To now it's a 101,000 something at the end, but basically 101,000.
I think it's 101,783.
It's a fucking uneven number, okay. But anyway, he comes out, does this whole little pop thing, and basically just oh, good job, everybody. And then you hear Bray Wyatt's music come out and makes his way to the ring, and basically was all oh, I know who you are, starts threatening him, does the whole creepy, ominous thing, and thinking that it's gonna be good and it's all great and everything, and just chilling there and go oh, The Rock's gonna get his ass kicked. And freaking all of a sudden, The Rock's whoa, we should have a WrestleMania match. He fucking pulls off his fucking breakaway pants and he's got fucking tights on. And I'm okay. So
he's definitely been hanging out with the Jackass crew.
I'm Bray Wyatt versus The Rock. It's fantastic. Nope, sorry, Eric Rowan. What? Fucking beats him in 6 seconds. I'm pretty sure that's the fastest WrestleMania match ever. And beats him in 6 seconds, and then that's basically it until freaking they get on the apron, and you can take that away.
What? Oh yeah, they jump on the apron because The Rock just humiliated him. He put on 2 elbow pads to win a match in 6 seconds. So you're like, obviously there's something going down here. So they're about to jump into the ring and they're about to eat The Rock's world because that's what Bray does. And all of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen, John Cena makes his triumphant return. Actually, he didn't come back to that big of a pop, honestly. Like, I thought he would have a bigger pop.
He was at fucking the Hall of Fame. That's why, and everyone was like, "You suck." Like,
yeah, like I thought he would have a bigger pop, but I mean, he's just coming out to such mediocre, which is good because that means finally maybe something will happen with that character that's actually interesting.
heel
Cough,
turn.
cough, heel turn. So everyone's just turning heel. Roman Reigns, John Cena. We're bringing back Hulk Hogan,
Yeah.
Hulkogan, to turn him heel. Fucking Chris Benoit, Crispenwah, is coming back. He's already heel, but
Come back from the dead.
So John Cena comes out. They beat the shit out of the Wyatts. Attitude adjustment, rock bottom, people's elbow, the works. And then John Cena's, The Rock's trying to put him over because that's what needs to happen. He's like, welcome back. Woo. The John Cena's back. WrestleMania, go. So a nice little moment, I guess.
He wasn't even supposed to be
Rock
back
there.
until like July. And now it's like, oh great, we have another fucking Super Cena moment. Where it's like, oh my god, he defied the.
John Cena wins the title tomorrow night at Raw. Confirmed. All right. So, and shout out to the Dallas cheerleaders coming out.
That was pretty hot.
Yeah. So then next is the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal featuring Big Show, Mark Henry, surprise entrance DDP, Tanaka. We had Kane. We had
Baron.
Baron Corbin, who was another surprise entrance.
Social Outcast.
Tyler Breeze, and a surprise entrant that I'm sure absolutely nobody saw, the 7-2 beast from the Lakers and Miami Heat and 16 other teams that he played for, Shaquille O'Neal. That dude was a beast back in his day in basketball, but he comes out.
A bunch
Shaq
of other characters that basically were like, you thought were like, oh, what, Darren Young still works?
Yeah, I can't believe Darren Young still worked for the company and that he was in the ring for as long as he was.
All right.
So, this match, the next match after this is the main event. So, I guess we'll just kind of take turns on this, and then we'll both talk about the main event. And I can sum up the fucking main event in about one word. One word that lasts about 10 minutes. So, all right, so Shaq comes out. Shaq's an entertainer at his finest. I love watching Shaq because he's just a really funny dude. So, match starts off. Everyone pushes Shaq and Big Show to a corner. They both throw everyone out of the ring.
They double chokeslam Kane.
Yeah, double chokeslam Kane because Kane's like, look, I'm a giant too.
I'm Hurricane. Yeah!
Kane is, I think Kane's 6'9" or 6'10", 6'11", some shit like that. About 7 feet. He looked like a midget compared to those two because Big Show's almost 500 pounds. Shaq is like, he looks like he's almost 500 pounds. I think he's like 350, 400 pounds. So those two are fighting. They end up eliminating each other or like eliminating together. And then Big Show picked up Shaq and he's like, good job, buddy. Let's walk to the back. And then it started to get interesting as people started getting eliminated.
DDP hit like one diamond cutter.
Yep, DDP hit some diamond cutters. People started getting eliminated slowly. The Social Outcast started to eliminate people. R-Truth was gone. Goldust was gone. All these people started getting eliminated. So it basically came down to...
Bow Train!
Yeah, the Bow Train. That was amazing.
Like, let's go. They go around the ring, run into Kane, let's go the other way.
Yeah.
And then they run into Baron Corbin. He's like, hi, I'm fucking Bow. Shut the shit out of him.
That might be the funniest moment I've ever seen in the ring. The Social Outcasts end up getting eliminated. Darren Young jumps up with Kane, and he's like, yeah, we did it! And then he's fucking out of the ring instantly. And then Kane got eliminated by Mark Henry, I believe? Or no?
No,
Mark Henry got eliminated early.
Yeah, Mark Henry got eliminated. Kane and Corbin at the end.
Yeah, so who did Kane eliminate, though? Didn't he eliminate one more after Darren Young?
I think Darren Young. It was Darren Young who threw.
Okay, so he throws Darren Young over, and he's looking at him. Baron Corbin sneaks up behind and eliminates him, which I think is great because I think of Baron Corbin as like the next evolution of Kane. Like he's that big, strong dude who's kind of like a loner. So
Scary as fuck.
yeah, exactly. So like I think of like when I think of Kane, I always thought upper mid Carter, like not top tier guy, but like upper mid Carter. He could hold like an intercontinental United States. That's what I think of Baron Corbin right now. Um, so he ends up winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which is huge because he's an NXT guy. I mean, I think that's his first match.
Basically means I think it basically means he's got like maybe like a while left in NXT, if that, and then he's done.
Yeah, because I think that his first match ever on the main roster,
Yeah.
going 1-0 on WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That's a good way to start off. So yeah, congrats to Baron Corbin. Big win for NXT, seeing as how he's still in NXT. I wonder if they were doing that just to draw eyes to NXT. Which who needs more eyes on NXT? It's already better than everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All
So
right.
that means the last match, which is the one that everyone didn't
Didn't
want to see. All right, calm down. This match could have been good if they built it up the right way. I'm thinking this originally was supposed to be either Triple H versus Rollins or Reigns versus Rollins, but because Rollins got hurt, that they couldn't do that, so they had to make.
Dude, can you imagine if it had been Reigns versus Rollins? Like I thought Reigns was getting booed out of the building already, dude. If he would have went up against Seth, oh my god, he would have got fucking destroyed with boos.
But Triple H's entrance starts and Stephanie's on the top screaming some outrageous bullshit, basically fucking like we're gonna get consumed by the king, like all this stupid shit. She looks like Wilma Flintstone, basically, in a fucking black leotard, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? She looks retarded, and then Triple H comes out and fucking a nice fucking pop. Basically, he's a fucking the heel, and he's fucking getting the fucking biggest reaction. So I'm like, alright.
If you showed this match to someone who doesn't watch wrestling, they would think Triple H was the good guy. Every single time they was changing blows, Reigns would hit, boo. Triple H would hit, pop. It's pretty insane that they're still pushing Reigns.
And then they do some like basic wrestling maneuvers and stuff, and then Stephanie, like, Stephanie does her thing where she gets fucking like pulls the ref out of the ring and like yells at him.
Yeah,
Okay.
they had some good spots like with Reigns spearing Hunter through the barricade. That was cool.
Yeah,
Despite that spot being done like 37,000 times with Reigns.
Yeah, and then him spearing Stephanie, that was fucking.
Yeah, for a company who so frequently pushes like, oh, we're not going to do woman violence anymore. They seem to beat the shit out of the woman.
Well, I mean, I think Stephanie was basically like the one thing they wanted to do. All right, she's annoying. She's fucking.
I honestly think that was a desperate attempt to put Roman over because like people fucking hate Stephanie. She's annoying. She has a stupid voice. People don't like her. I mean, she fucking loves Zayn. I mean, people like that, but fucking. I think they were just trying to get Reigns over, like, oh shit, he just speared Steph. Like, this guy's fucking amazing. It's fucked up when The Rock coming out trying to get you over doesn't work. Beating the shit out of Triple H doesn't work. Having one of the best spots on a Monday Night Raw with a suicide dive and the fucking chants that followed that were, you still suck. And then
You still suck.
he speared Steph and the crowd didn't even pop. They were just like, oh. Wow, Steph got speared. That's crazy.
You still suck though.
Yeah, like, I mean, it just boggles my mind that Reigns is still being pushed as hard as he is.
Well, he wins the match basically. Triple H, Stephanie's basically on the floor. Triple H is fucking pretty much done. He gets his ass kicked, and he goes and she gives him a sledgehammer, in which the ref doesn't even try to grab it like he did back in the old days, where it's like, oh, you have a chair? I need to grab that from you.
Yeah,
No, he's just sitting there like
viciously rip it out of their hands.
he's just fucking holding it there, and Reigns just Superman punches him like times, and freaking Triple H is still holding on to it. I'm like, dude, all right, that makes zero sense. And fucking tries to hit him, and just the whole like, I duck, bounce off the rope, spear you, and wins. I still predicted that he would win, despite not wanting him to, not wanting either of them really to win. Like,
I mean, Reigns had to win.
yeah, but
Otherwise,
it's like there was zero build, not like zero build, but the crappiest build, and it's just you didn't care who won ultimately. You just like get this pay-per-view over with.
the build for this match was like the only way I can think of this is like trying to get a luxury liner to go into the ocean and like drive while you have like 4 anchors down and just holding it back. Nobody wanted Reigns. Everyone was very adamant about Reigns sucks. We don't want him. Vince said, "Fuck you, I'm pushing him." And the crowd
they just pushed him the wrong way. They freaking Raw where he beat Sheamus for the title of freaking people were cheering for him, and he was like basically like, "Thank you. I know I fucking got like booed like last year for the past year and all that." But freaking after that, freaking they did the whole thing where he loses in the Rumble to Triple H, which everybody freaking knew was gonna happen, and then you're just basically like, "Oh, they're gonna do a WrestleMania match. Oh, Reigns is gonna win." So like you pretty much knew for like a good 3 months what would happen.
Yeah, I mean, again, thinking of the future, I don't know how you could have like gotten out of this. The way I wanted them to get out of this, because Seth Rollins was present in the back. For those who didn't know, I wanted Seth Rollins to come out and screw Triple H over. Like Triple H would have been like, "Oh shit, Seth," and then like Stephanie tries to distract the ref or something, and then Seth hits Triple H, and then spear 1, 2, 3. I mean, obviously people still wouldn't like Roman Reigns, but Seth coming out, it would have got the crowd into it, because the crowd was just, they were only watching this match to boo Reigns. That's pretty much why they were watching this.
Then nothing really happens at the end. He gets the title, and it's like,
it was just a firework display. I mean, nothing else happened.
Boo!
Yeah, severe boos.
So you're like, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, say that Takeover was better than Mania, maybe isn't. You can't really say that. Takeover had a better match. Mania, like match of the year match, but the rest of Takeover was pretty like, like you had the Asuka match was pretty bad compared to the women's match they had. I think the women's match that Mania had was still a little bit better, and then in Corbin versus Aries sucked, but thank God they let the guy fucking bounce back.
Listen, you think that match sucked because he didn't come out wearing a fucking cape?
No, that's not even why I think it sucked. I think it sucked because freaking
Listen, I heard you. You were like, he's not wearing a cape. I'm not even paying attention to this match. Fuck this match. It's like, you didn't even fucking watch him wrestle. He just didn't come out with a cape.
His wrestling, he didn't really even wrestle. He basically, Corbin kicked his ass the whole entire time and doesn't even hit a finisher on him. He just fucking schoolboys him. So I'm like, that fucking sucks for fucking Aries for a debut, and it sucks for Corbin. Fucking this one of the who's been on the fucking roster for 3 years. Thank God they gave him the fucking Andre the Giant Battle Royal to make a comeback for. But basically, I still think that freaking Mania was still better, minus the whole Shinsuke Nakamura Sami Zayn match.
Well, I mean, that was match of the year, hands down. So far, like I don't think anything's even has a dream of competing with that so far out of this year. But
they somehow do like another freaking good Divas match where they don't have Charlotte win.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're comparing Takeover, I mean, overall, I think WrestleMania was a better show than Takeover, simply because, I mean, the spectacle was just so much bigger.
Regardless, WrestleMania was still going to be a bit bigger, but
yeah. So, what's your overall thought on this WrestleMania, Nick?
I don't know, how many matches do you have on that thing? Minus the Rock match, because that doesn't really even the match.
The main event, 1, Andre Battle Royal, 2, we had...
I don't count I didn't even have like a choice for that.
Shane, Charlotte, so what are we up for? Lesnar. My computer's like freezing.
And then I think the ladder match, wasn't it the ladder match?
Yeah, the Jericho, League of Nations ladder match.
It was like 7 or 8. I think I was 7 for 8, and the only one I didn't get right was Sasha winning. I was pissed, because I'm like, that would have been fucking great! Like, everything, the pop she would have got, everyone would have been like, yeah! Like, she's still she's like the neutral one, where she's like, yeah, I don't really give a fuck, but I also...
That being said, I don't think I ever said this, my problem with the new women's division, what the hell are you gonna do? Like, Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte are the only 3 on the main roster that can compete at that super high level.
Bayley! She's definitely
gonna come up. Bayley hasn't debuted yet. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you bring her up, even then, you bring her up, you have 4 that can compete at the super high level.
I think, not Tamina, fucking Naomi is like, she's not as good, but she's like a tier below them where she can put on.
Yeah, like Naomi is like Victoria to Trish. Like,
and then Tamina kind of like is just there, and then Brie, I think Brie's gonna be gone. Brie isn't good caliber, like an excellent wrestler by any means. She's gone after tomorrow. Nikki's still out. She came to the ring with a neck brace. I saw that. I saw a picture of it, and she's still wearing a neck brace. I was like, okay, well that's obviously not cool.
Listen,
So
I'm just saying, Eva Marie is still under contract to the WWE. She's champion.
yeah, why is she under contract? And why was she on the main event roster for a freaking little bit? And then she went to NXT and then was in a fucking main event match. Not a main event match, but a fucking match at Wrestle. I'm like, I'm glad they put Emma up there. Like, Emma was good when she was wrestling in WWE and then went to NXT and like helped launch their Divas division and still there. But
No, I didn't like Emma's character at all when she would come out and pop bubbles and stuff like that. I thought that was stupid.
I mean, now yeah, her heel character's fucking good and she's still hot, so it's like it doesn't really matter. But just like, yeah.
All right, so Nick, take it away. Overall thoughts on this WrestleMania?
Better WrestleMania than last year, in my opinion, because Triple H versus Sting was pretty fucking bad. Not bad, but it was just like eh. And then what was the main event last? Oh, that was when Rollins came. The match last year, the main event match was still pretty. It was probably kind of like it was this year, to the point where you're like, oh, okay, who cares who wins? Brock, Reigns. It's like eh. And then Rollins came out and kind of saved it.
Yeah. To be fair,
the ladder match was
the main event with Seth, I think, is the best WrestleMania moment of all time, in my opinion, because Seth Rollins is my favorite wrestler.
I think the ladder match this year was far better because you had more spots and you had Sami Zayn pulled off most of the spots that you need. Better last year's deep. Last year's. But it was it was AJ and it wasn't even a title match. It was AJ and freaking Paige versus the Bellas, and I was like, all right, so no Divas title match. Okay, that does nothing for. So we actually had a Divas titles match this year, plus another Divas match on the pre-show. So I thought this WrestleMania was pretty good. It was definitely worth watching. It wasn't one of those WrestleMania pay-per-views. Like I could skip it and like not care.
Yeah, I think.
Undertaker's match was 100 times better this year than last year. You had Bray Wyatt last year, who was injured trying to work, and basically built up to be the next Undertaker, and they buried him. And instead, this year you had Shane, who's still at 46 years old, putting on a good show, versus Undertaker. Didn't wrestle for like 5 years, like more than one match, and now wrestling like 5 or 6.
Yeah, good thing they didn't bury Bray this year. You know, just put one of his family members in a
they
6.
They just buried fucking Rowan in 6 seconds.
Oh my god, that's so bad.
That's gonna be like The Rock's last match. I retire. What? I won my last match in 6 seconds.
All right, so my overall thoughts on this, good show. Like all the wrestling, I think the wrestling now is at a higher level than it's ever been. Like the actual wrestling, I don't think it's ever been this good. Like even the Attitude Era, like people have like they like to jerk off to their fantasies of the Attitude Era, but the Attitude Era didn't have wrestling as good. It had better storylines. Don't get me wrong, much better storylines.
They just had weapons. They just had fucking be more yourself and like swear and like pop
like,
culture.
You didn't have to be so PC all the time.
And you had freaking people just being like, "What, chair over the head?"
Yeah. So I think the wrestling's at a higher technical level than ever before.
They just need to fucking fire whoever's in creative.
Yeah. My only issue with this is the future. I don't know what they're gonna do with the future, because you have, out of all of them, you had the League of Nations win and then go down to a bunch of Hall of Famers. Obviously, the Hall of Famers aren't coming back to have a feud with the League of Nations. The New Day just lost to the League of Nations, which puts the League of Nations basically at a title reign because they beat the tag championship.
A title hunt, so now they're probably going to get the next title shot.
Yeah, so then you have the League of Nations versus New Day.
Again.
Which, I mean, you look at the tag division in NXT, there's so many good tag teams. I mean, how is the tag
division here?
Yeah, it's just so bad.
What, Golden Truth? What?
Yeah.
Hype them?
Oh my god.
Push the Golden Truth.
Yeah, so you got that match. Then you got Jericho versus AJ.
That was pretty good.
Good match. It's just that now they're tied 2-2.
And it's like, where are they going to
go? They either go Jericho saying, that's it, I'm done, I don't need to ever wrestle him again, which AJ would obviously be like, well, we're tied 2-2, he's just scared of me, which would coax Jericho into another match. Or Jericho comes out, says, listen, we're 2-2, we can both be great, whatever, turns face, and then you have to get rid of Jericho because Jericho is so good as a heel. Like, he needs to be a heel. But
I think overall, great WrestleMania, though. Not the best, but not shitty as fuck either.
Yeah, it was definitely a good WrestleMania, but the future of the company is just kind of
where is it?
up in the air, because it seems like It seems like the creative staff is basically a bunch of goldfish. You know, they have a span of about 3 seconds. Like, oh, we got this great match, and then it's
What
like,
was
oh
it?
shit, we need a story.
6-man tag. What?
Yeah, a 6-man tag. They're actually gonna have a handicap match: Heath Slater versus the entire roster for every title. So, there you go.
All right, so
WrestleMania, ladies and gentlemen.
great WrestleMania. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be posting this momentarily, and I hope you guys all enjoy, and see you next time.